So here are the top 5 stocks in 2024 that our members see value in. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky here with TechBud Solutions. Welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk. I host these every single Sunday at 6:30 to around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Mountain Standard Time. I forgot about daylight savings. So I'm located here in Arizona. I'd love to host these live streams because it gives us some time to come together as a team and just brainstorm ideas. Now, again, please understand that the goal for this live is, we're going to be breaking down a handful of different stocks that our members see value in. The goal for you is not to see value in all of them because we all see value in different ways, but hopefully out of the 5 or maybe 10 different stocks that we break down, 1 or 2 of them are something that might meet your criteria, or maybe they're not there yet, but you want to add them to your watch list, set alerts, and follow up with them when things are more suitable for you, right? The beautiful thing about this is that you can become aware of stocks that you were not already aware of, and what better way to do it to share ideas with an open mind. Now, again, we all see value in different ways, so I want to remind you that what I break down today is simply my opinion, so please make sure that if you see value in something and I don't, at the end of the day, you're an adult, you can do whatever it is that you end up wanting to do. So let's go ahead and jump right into my screen. We're going to be using the Webull trading application to break down these stocks. It's a free trading application that's commission free and available in the US. And right now they are giving new members, so new people that sign up for this brokerage, up to 12 free shares if you have an initial deposit of at least 5 stocks. So if you've been looking for a new brokerage or you've never opened one, what better time? It's the 5th link in the description down below if you use my link. I want to remind you, you do have to have an initial deposit of just $5 and you get up to 12 free shares. So feel free to check it out if you haven't done so already. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I went ahead and you guys can let me know in the live chat, which should be on the right-hand side if you're on desktop, or if you're on mobile, it's going to be right below the video. You're going to be able to engage with this YouTube channel and participate in that live chat as long as you're subscribed. So if you're not subscribed already, click that subscribe button and make sure that you drop that thumbs up. I'm also going to be reading some off of my Instagram because I asked some of my followers yesterday on Instagram what they are looking to invest in 2024. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start off first here on YouTube. So if you have your top stock that you would like me to break down, share it in that live chat, just the ticker symbol and maybe a quick little 1 sentence of why you see value in it. Do you intend to go long? Do you intend to go short? Where do you plan to buy? Where do you plan to sell? Just shedding some light on, what and why it is that you see value, and just so I can get a little bit of a better understanding on why you do. So, all right, we got Sean with is that Realty Income? So let's go ahead and pop that up. Yep, Realty Income. I don't think I've broken this one down before, but look at this. The thing that I love about this is that, again, this is something that you often do not see beginners do. What do beginners normally do? Do they invest in consistently bullish companies that move slow but consistent over a period of time? Or do they invest in riskier stocks hoping to make a ton of money in a short period of time? And trust me, I'm no different on how I got started, and it still catches me from time to time where I see those pretty double-digit or sometimes even triple-digit potential percent returns. And it is very attractive. It is very enticing. But I want to remind you, with great opportunity comes great responsibility, and you need to learn how to walk before you run, right? And those higher ROI potential trades normally come with higher percent potential risk. So it's just something to take into consideration. The thing that I love about this is that it's consistently bullish over a long period of time. So if your timing is not perfect because of its true direction, showing signs of higher highs and higher lows, it tends to perform very well. And you can see this recent pullback. This is where people and really solid investors say, buy the fear, sell the greed, right? Buy when people are fearful, sell when people are greedy, and when it's returning back to previous highs. So right off the bat, I can see why you could potentially have a price target of around $64 to maybe a little bit on the higher side of $69 to around $70 a share. From where we're at right now, we're right around $58, $59. If it does end up going to $64, that's about an 8 to almost 9% ROI. We're using the little trend line tool here on the Webull platform. If it goes all the way to previous highs, it's going to be right around 18% ROI. But let's talk about it. I always want to talk about the downside risk. This is something that if you don't prepare for, it's going to eat you alive in the stock market. Remember, the stock market's not just about making money, but it's learning how to keep it. You will never avoid red days. Your job as a trader is simply to manage them. And that should be the goal for 2024, is that embrace the red days. Having a red day does not make you a bad trader. It makes you simply human. But it's how you tolerate those red days and how you manage it that really makes the difference. I am more impressed when someone manages risk according to their plan, if it's 1 or 2% or whatever it is that you end up having as your risk management plan, rather than someone that just hopes that it recovers, and if they end up green, they're happy. You're always just one bad trade away when you don't have any proper form of risk management. And again, you let me know in the live chat what you think. Please, for all of the beginners that are watching, listen not just to my words, but listen to the other people. If you're getting started in this, don't just learn about how to take on a trade and how to sell for a profit, but it's knowing when to cut losses. So let's go ahead and break this one down. The biggest thing that I would like to point out is because there is upside potential and it's so consistently bullish, I can 100% see why you see potential in it. But again, it has been forming lower highs and lower lows, so it could potentially get rejected here. So if we do begin to see this thing pull on back and it breaks below the EMA or it breaks below the moving average, then guess what? If it breaks below this, it can curl right on over and come right back off. So my risk management has to be A1, which means that there's nothing wrong with choosing to take a trade because you see upside potential. Just make sure that your downside risk is managed. Remember, we talked about it. In a perfect world, this thing offers nearly an 18% ROI. So let's make sure that when we manage or mitigate risk, if you choose to take the trade, that your risk is less than that 18%. Normally, when we talk about it in the LPP lesson library, we like to focus on, a 2-to-1 ratio, a 3-to-1 ratio. If you're really conservative, maybe a 5-to-1 ratio. And all that means is what is your upside potential versus your downside risk? Very, very simple. And again, it might sound like a lot and this might sound complicated, but I can reassure you, just like your smartphone, it was very overwhelming with all the different options that you had in the very beginning. But now look at you. You know how to navigate through that smartphone like it's second nature. Because over time and consistently practicing, you begin to become familiar not just with the platform, but the do's and the don'ts when trying to get something done. And the stock market is no different. The more that you surround yourself around people that are doing the same thing or becoming proactive in this market, it doesn't mean that you have to be actively taking a bunch of trades, but the more you begin to learn, the more you practice, the better and the easier it shall become. The stock market is not easy. It is very challenging, but that's what I love about it. I wake up every morning knowing it's going to be a challenge, and that's why it's so fulfilling. So let me know in the comment section if you agree. But I feel like we're starting off on the right foot. I really like this one. I just like how consistently bullish it is. And even if this thing ends up selling off, think about that. You don't have to buy it now, because if this thing does curl on over and does begin to sell off, then guess what? I would love to run the possibility of letting this thing rip down and maybe buying it at oversold levels with a very small position. And if it ends up recovering, I can always add more to it. We talk more about position size management in the course, so feel free to check that out. That's the second link in the description down below. But I have a video response from Boss Mike 445. He's someone that I always talk to over Instagram, so I wanted to break down his stock. But one of the responses that I got from him is short Costco, massive. And I think he's bringing this up. So Costco is extremely bullish right now. Now, that's his opinion, right? He thinks that it's a good time to short Costco. Costco right now is extremely bullish. How many of you guys knew that? Costco, where you keep the cost low. Costco is so bullish right now. To me, if you were to ask me, is this the right time to short something? I don't think so. Because this is so consistently bullish that yes, it might be overbought and overvalued based off of the RSI, but when there's an active uptrend, the last thing that I want to do is try to predict the future. Shorting means I'm making money as it sells off, and all this has been doing is gapping up. Now, it would be a different story if it was giving me a sell signal like we have here, and then it begins to actively sell off. That's an active sell-off. It became overbought, it consolidated, we got confirmation, we waited for confirmation for the break below EMA, and then it actively sold off. That would make sense to me. We break that down in LPP as well, right? But as of right now, I think to short Costco is it's too bullish and too risky to want to consider a short. But you let me know down in the comment section or in the live chat what you think. So now I'm going to go back to breaking down in the live chat. So if you want me to break down your stock, again, all I literally ask you to do is to share it in that live chat, and let's go ahead and break it down. So Riot or Mara, what is going on, Skinny FX? Okay, so Riot looks like it was indicating signs of an uptrend. So correct me if I'm wrong, but is Riot also part of the whole pending approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF approval? Because I saw this thing rallied, but it looks like based off of recent patterns, just like Mara and Coin, this thing began to sell off. Is that correct? Okay. So this is the risk, right? It's this common phrase known as, or not just phrase, but it's a common rule of buy the news, buy the rumors, sell the news. And this was the pending approval. When the news came out, stocks and Bitcoin began to go up. That it was pending approval from the SEC. Now that it got approved, this is where it comes down to sell the news and you buy, sell the news, but you buy the rumors. So when it was still pending approval, obviously it was much undervalued. It ran up as it became, brought more awareness to it, and it came back to retest previous highs, and now it's actively pulling on back. I mean, I was looking at crypto or at Bitcoin, a few minutes ago, and it's not doing too hot. So as of right now, it's pretty much testing its support. I don't know if can things get worse before they get better? Definitely. Bitcoin was running up from lows of 15 all the way to highs of 49,000. That is a huge, huge return. So you can't be surprised that now people are locking in profits, which is creating a nice little sell-off. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to absolutely crash. No, but it can, right? It can break below that EMA, break below 40,000, and actively begin to sell off. And that's not going to be good for Riot. That's not going to be good for Coinbase. And that's not going to be good for Mara. But again, if there's enough stability in this because of the establishment of the spot Bitcoin ETF and it holds at these levels, it's all an if. If it does, then it could build a support here and then begin to run up. And that is the beautiful thing about waiting for confirmation. People always try to focus on predicting, right? We can't predict the future, but you can always prepare for best or worst case scenario. Because if this thing does begin to go up, right, let's say with Riot, then you can wait, not take an open position, and if it does go up and you get confirmation of a reversal, you can always enter. Or if it does continue to sell off, you can always short, but you can wait for confirmation. And that is the beautiful thing about the stock market. It's normally those that try to predict and hope for something to happen that get burned, and this is why they say it pays to be patient. Let's go ahead and do 2 more stocks that you guys would like me to break down, and then we will call it a stream. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I know it's Sunday. You're probably with your friends or family or watching football. So just 2 more stocks. I would love to break them down. I feel like we've gotten a variety of different stocks that we've broken down already. So let's go from that. BA, actually love that you brought that up. This is because of the unfortunate accident that happened, right? Where one of the Boeing airlines, I think it was a 737 or 747, don't quote me on the plane, but they called it like a MAX 9 or something like that, right? Where a window or this whole compartment ended up opening up, right? A huge sell-off began to happen with Boeing. But again, I like to ask myself a very, very simple question, and you don't have to agree with me. This is just my opinion. As of right now, it's actively selling off. So if we're keeping it simple, no opinions aside, why predict? We don't know if it's going to continue to sell off. The cheap can always get cheaper. It's a common phrase that we also say. 3 stages of a reversal. There's the rejection phase, which it's still actively selling off. Then there's a stage where it begins to consolidate and begin to establish its support. Okay, that's sign of a potential reversal. But then you wait for confirmation. And you might be asking, well, Ricky, what exactly does that look like? I can show you, because you can look at almost any stock and see that what it looks like when it's actively selling off. Why predict when it could continue to sell off? Then it begins to show signs of a support, meaning that it no longer makes new lows. It kind of just trades sideways. And then it breaks above EMA and actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So again, it wasn't about predicting. It wasn't about trying to buy it at the lowest price point, which is something that a lot of beginner traders try to do. But it's just buying when it actually is showing you that it's showing signs of growth. So it ran up, pulled back, held above EMA, and continued to run up. So I would rather buy here than buying anywhere here, because this is an active sell-off and you're still in fear that it could always continue to sell off. Now when it's actually indicating signs of an uptrend, you're like, okay, cool. Now we have previous highs. I got in at a good price point, not perfect, but good. And now it's indicating signs of an uptrend and you can make money on the run up. That would be my same approach when it comes down to something like this. Let the sucker sell off. Why are you in a rush to overpay? It's an example that I love to give our beginner traders, because why are you trying to buy at 217 when next week or 2 weeks from now, it could be at 201? I don't know about you, but if there's a shoe for sale and knowing that prices are dropping, are you in a rush to get that shoe right away? Well, no, right? And this isn't even, I guess a shoe is a bad example, because you could actually wear a shoe and potentially enjoy it. Are you going to enjoy buying a stock knowing that it could continue to sell off? No, right? Why not just wait for proper indication of a reversal? Keeping it simple, not predicting, but simply preparing for it. So you can add it to your watch list, you can set your alerts, and then once it actually meets your criteria, and the thing that I like to see is indicating signs of a reversal, then I can choose to strike when it makes sense. Let's go ahead and do one more stock. Again, I hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. If you want to partake in the live chat, subscribe to the channel. But let's do one more stock and we'll call it a live stream. So what moving average is that? I have the 200 moving average. Again, I have this whole breakdown on my setup broken down in LPP, which is the second link in the description down below. So Microsoft, crazy buying pressure, target 400. Microsoft to me is a little bit more on the overbought side. So I'm just going to pull it up. This isn't the stock that I'm going to break down. But yeah, a lot of buying pressure, now very overbought. We're seeing the same thing with QQQ. Now, obviously this thing can continue to run up, but we're so overbought that it's like, for me, there's more downside risk than upside potential. So for me, I'm okay with staying cash here, waiting for the pullback, and then I can either short on the way down or just wait for prices to be at a level that, in my opinion, are more realistic to its true value, where I can get a better deal. I'm a deal hunter. It doesn't matter for the house flips that we're doing, for the cars that I'm buying, or for the stocks that I'm buying, right? I want to buy it for a good deal. So anytime that you choose to buy a stock, ask yourself, are you buying it for a good deal, or are you just buying it because you can, because of FOMO? Have a reason behind every move that you make. So let's go ahead and break down. We have a lot of people asking about Tesla, and I can see why, because Tesla's stock performance has been not the best, to say the least, right? We talked about this. Tesla was testing its previous resistance at 260. There was a lot of hope that things were going to get better. Now it's become very oversold. Now it's testing lows of 200. The cheap can always get cheaper. I would always, just like we talked about Boeing, let it sell off. Why are you in a rush to overpay? There's no indication of a reversal, no signs of a support just yet. Why buy it at 218 when you can buy it next week for sub 200? Do you get what I mean? What does it look like when it sells off? Like this. Just look back at its history. What does it look like when it begins to recover? Like this, right? It actually begins to show signs of recovery. You have to give the market the time that it needs to paint its picture. And that's exactly what we see here. You see the run-ups, you see the run-downs, but you see that reversal forming. That's exactly what I would like to see. I would like to be invested in a stock that is not just cheap, but that is actually showing signs of a recovery. So I'm not just buying it because it's cheap, knowing that the cheap can always get cheaper. So I would really like to follow up with Tesla, because I think it could make an amazing swing trade if we get that confirmation of that reversal, especially at the low $200 price points. I would love to buy it. But again, this is why we zoom out. We talk about this in LPP. People think that it's cheap at 200, but did you take a look at the larger time frames? from 200, it could still lose 50% and go back down to 100. Again, it's all perspective. This is why time frames are so important, because it gives you a different perspective from the overall big picture of the stock. So anytime that you're in a rush to pay, or to buy a stock, remind yourself, take a step back, look at the big picture, and ask yourself, does it actually make sense to buy now? Or should I wait for indication of a reversal, or whatever your own criteria is? But again, I do want to remind you, I trade live every morning right at market open. So that's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time is when the stock market opens. And that is when my daily live trading sessions start. So this is where you get to see my live feed just like this. And imagine being able to see me buy a stock, sell a stock. But most importantly, you get to hear my thought process behind every trade I take. So it's not just about me posting my profits or posting my losses. You get to see it happen live in real time for about 30 minutes to an hour and a half every single day right at market open. Tomorrow, the stock market is closed in observance to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But Tuesday, market will be open, and I hope to see you there for our live trading session, which is the second link in the description down below. Right now, it's 50% off, which means $250 off. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and it's designed for complete beginners. So if you want to check it out, second link in the description down below. And do not forget, we are also coming to an end for our Tesla giveaway, and that is the fourth link in the description down below, or shoptechbuds.com. So what that means is if you buy anything from Shop Tech Buds, it could be one of our mystery boxes, it could be the Go F Yourself Elon Musk tee, anything Tesla related, any of our bonus entries, literally anything. Any of our apparel, Wall Street shirts, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Phoenix, literally anything, right? If you want trading mouse pads, if you want wall art, everything that you see on my trading desk is all part of our Shop Tech Buds setup. And again, it all literally gets you entered for a chance to win that Tesla. Our current Tesla giveaway is probably the least entered giveaway we've ever had, so your chances are probably the best. If you want to learn more about it and see how you can enter, first, do not buy anything you won't actually wear or want. But if you were already thinking about buying one of our trading mouse pads, some of our wall art, some of our cash art, some of our t-shirts, then cool. What better time to get incentivized by also automatically getting entered for our Tesla giveaway. So if you buy anything, you automatically get entered. You don't have to do anything. So I appreciate your time. Hope that earned a thumbs up. Again, all the links are in the description down below. We talked a lot today, but I really hope that if you have any questions, don't be a stranger, but definitely don't be a weirdo. But don't be a stranger. Just shoot me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, and that's the first or third link in the description down below. Happy Sunday, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.